Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Welcome back to this BQS514 Research Methodology subject, and this week we'll be talking about the research proposal. Writing a research proposal is very important because that will be the first step when you are doing your research. So what will be the learning outcome for this week? It's basically to understand the process of proceeding research proposals and what are the importance of having this research proposal in our research. So what is research proposal? A research proposal is a document that is set out for the purpose of a study, and it shows the research design, your research design details on the scientific investigation that you would like to carry out. So it's actually a document containing step-by-step on how your research will be carried out later. Before we start writing, here are a few things that you have to bear in mind. So the first question will be, do I have a clear research question? Research question is very important, as what has been explained before. Research question will tell you, will guide you on how to determine your research scope, to what extent you would like to conduct the research, and secondly, and how you want to do your research. So all of these questions need to be ruled out first before you can proceed to the next question. So next question is, have I read broadly and deeply in that area? Which means you need to do some study on the literature in order for you to make sure that you have a certain level of knowledge on that particular area. Because put it this way, if you want to talk about something, you need to have fact and figure about that particular matters. Okay, so next question is, have I discussed the topic with the peers? Which means, have you spoken this to the the expert in that particular field or a stakeholder in that particular research area? So all of this research need to be communicated well, so that there will be no duplication of a research and there will be a clear direction of your particular research. So apart from that, you have to think about the time, the funding, the skills needed for your research, financial, and also your emotion in terms of family support, faculty, and friends. So what it should contain, it is based on your research question. So you need to have these 4 W and 2 H. What, why, who, how, when. So all of these need to be asked in order for you to embark into writing your research proposal. So what do you want to do is actually your objectives. Okay, why it is important. So you need to tell people why your research is relevant and important in the current situation or perhaps in the future. So who has done a similar works, which means you need to know who are the experts in this particular field in order for you to make your discussion in your proposal very relevant and interesting. The next step is defining your research topic. Research topic, it has to go with your passion and your interest. When you want to do a research, it's good that we have, an interest in that particular field, because it will make your research more interesting. So, ask yourself whether are you willing to embark into this study and what motivates you to proceed with this study. So because it will help you to go along with your research throughout the years in conducting the research. Okay, it's normally we'll start with the general topics, okay, and then you go to a specific thesis topic. General topics mean if you are talking about a construction industry, the topic will be the construction process, the industry itself, and you narrow down to your specific research topic, which mean you have to identify the specific interest that you would like to explore. This is what we call as a knowledge gap. And the next uh, phase is looking at how to generate and what kind of research question that you will pose in your research. And then perhaps with some knowledge of literature review and also a theoretical knowledge, you can start to pose your hypothesis. So here are the basic section in the research proposal. Okay, you're gonna have your title, an introduction to the study, a problem statement. This is where you are going to highlight why your research is very important and what problem that you would like to try to solve. Research question that you pose in your research and what will be your aims and objective of your research need to be clearly highlighted. Methodology on how you are going to carry out your scientific investigation in order to answer your research objectives and aims. Scope of work is very important because it will tell your panels or the one who are reading your research paper to what extent that your research is exploring and so on. Literature review is very important because you have to tell people what you know and how this literature review will influence your research. Significance of your research and also references is very important. Remember, avoid plagiarism. Okay, first, let's look at the title of the study. It gives a reader a sense of what you are investigating. Don't make it too general, but not too long as well. Make it a very catchy, but a very simple kind of wordings, so that when people look at your title, they know that what is your research all about. So, for instance, here I have an example where if you look at this example, the title is Integrating Safety Elements into Post-Occupancy Evaluation for a Low-Cost Housing in Malaysia. So, if you look at this title, the main focus of this research is the safety element. Okay, and the main approach is the post-occupancy evaluation. And the building sample is the low-cost housing in Malaysia. So, by looking at the title, your reader or your evaluator will know what is your research all about. Secondly, you have to look at how to write a good introduction and the background of a research. It's actually an introduction to a reader about your topics and the question that you pose in your research. Remember that I have told you what are the things that you need to include in your title: the main focus, main approach, and the building samples. And here you are going to introduce a little bit on this in your introduction section. And it's very important as well to show why you are interested in this study and what are, your aims or your objectives or your target in this particular research. Right. The third one is a problem statement. Before writing up the problem statement, you need to have a research problem, which means you need to identify what is a problem that you would like to focus in this research, why you want to solve the problem, and how you want to solve the problems. So the identification and location of a research is the first step of identifying the research problem. So the problem must be convincing enough and completely defined So you have to understand the scenario of the problem. This is where you need to look at the past research or published papers to help you to explain on your research problems. Alright, how do you build your research problem? Okay, you can have various sources or ways in identifying your research problem. First is a casual observation, which means you look surround you, try to observe what is a physical phenomena that happening around you. Secondly, analysis of event could be your interest. For example, you have an interest in looking at why building industrialized system IBS or beam can be utilized in Sarawak construction industry, for instance, and exploration of literature review where you find the gaps of the problem, and then arise from the personal experience, first-hand information, and so on. So this is an example how a research problem can be identified from a literature and a research gap in the literature. For example, here, if you look at the first example here, it says maintenance management facilities. However, the needs of maintenance continue to grow, where else maintenance resources may not be growing at the same pace. So at this stage, the author is trying to tell you that this is a problem where the maintenance resources is not growing at the same pace of the needs of maintenance. Secondly, second example, everything that is being highlighted in red, that is a research gap. From a research gap, you know that previous researcher or past research did not cover the area of research yet, so it become a lack in research, or what we call as a research gap. Okay, reading can help you to identify the problems, and of course in research you cannot run away from a lot of reading to find evidence. Okay, number 4 is a research question. The purpose of a research consists of identifying the major intent or objective for a study and narrowing into a specific research question or hypothesis. And this statement is taken from Creswell 2012. Creswell wrote a lot of books on a research methodology, and it's very relevant. So I hope students you will have you can get a copy of this book and try to read about this research methodology. Okay, so if a gap or problem are identified, you are able to generate a research question. Research question narrow the purpose of statement to a specific question that a researcher seek to answer. So that's all for part 1 of this topic. I'll see you guys at part 2.